Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 5, text 14. Na kartritvam na karmani
न कर्तव्यं न कर्माणि
lokasya srijati prabhuhu
लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः
न
na
कर्माणि
karma, na karma phala samyogam
न कर्मफलसंयोगं
स्वभावस्तु
लोकस्य
स्वभावस्तु
प्रवृत्ति
प्रवर्तते.
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
Someone please read.
Okay, I'll read.
Yeah.
Translation. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. The living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or nature of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the result of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it. But actually, he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil.
So Krishna is saying, he's been saying to act in Krishna consciousness and in this way work in devotion for Krishna and not get attached to the material world because after all we are the souls, not the body. And he's saying do all the activities in that consciousness, Krishna consciousness, understanding I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I'm eternal servant of Krishna. So he's been saying to Arjuna, and he's saying that the soul does not, he's not the soul, what we are aloof from the body. And whatever we right now, the body, because it's material, it's under the laws of material nature, which means it's being controlled by the three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And it's the three modes that are making the body act. And once a soul understands this, realizes this, then he's not bound by the actions of it. Well, doesn't mean to say that, oh, because it's the modes that are making me act, so I can act in all sinful manners. No, like the intention is already noted. And if the intention is acting on the bodily platform, then of course we will get the reactions. The soul is the superior energy of Krishna, and the material energy is called inferior energy. Now, why is the soul called superior energy and material nature is called inferior energy? Why?
Maybe because soul is it's immutable.
Immutable. Yeah, it is immutable. There's one distinct characteristic of the soul?
It's
It is.
not
It's
sure.
conscious. The soul is conscious, whereas the material elements are not conscious. That's what sets us apart from the material elements. The earth, water, air, fire, ether, they are not conscious, whereas we are. So matter cannot, uh, reproduce by itself. Matter cannot, um, like for example, if there's an airplane, it can't drive by itself. A pilot is needed to fly the plane, no? The car, no matter we say autopilot or whatever, but somebody has to be there to push the button. And that's the soul, the consciousness. So there's a difference, consciousness. Um, Now, why do we attain these material bodies? They are temporary. Our time in this body is temporary. We are going to leave it in some time. And there are many different types of bodies. Some are human bodies, some are fish, some are birds, some are trees. Why are we getting different um, types of bodies? All this is happening based on our actions, how we act. Based on that, we are not given a choice. Nobody asks us a questionnaire. Oh, which kind of body would you like to be born in? Which planet? Which community? Which country? No, we are just put in one based on our actions. So, and then we are inside one body, and in that body, we are either suffering or enjoying the results of that body, the karma. This is all because of the reactions of our action that we get different types of bodies. And these reactions we are getting because we are acting in ignorance. And what's the ignorance? Our ignorance is that we are thinking we are the body, not the soul. So we are acting in that consciousness that I'm the body. So I need to keep the results of all my activities for myself. I need to enjoy this material world. I need to enjoy this body. So our ignorance, thinking that I'm the body, and this body is the cause of the suffering that we go through. Once when the soul realizes that I am not this body, the body is going to act in various ways, whatever the functioning of the body has, but all that it's being done as modes of nature. Then he does not get the reaction. When he offers these reactions, when he does the activities as an offering to Krishna, like how Krishna is telling Arjuna, you fight, you don't stop fighting. You do your duty, but you do it for my pleasure. And in this way, there are no reactions and we can get liberated. Till the time we continue to act that I am the body, everything related to the body is mine, and we are trying to control the situation, control others, then we are getting the reactions for our actions. And till that time, we will continue to get more and more bodies in the material world because more and more actions we are doing, so we will get more and more reactions. That's why Prabhupada is saying the best solution is by transcendental Krishna consciousness, means acting for the pleasure of Krishna. Not that we stop acting. We cannot stop acting, but acting for the pleasure of Krishna, offer the results to Krishna. And how can we be situated in this Krishna consciousness? The more we hear and the more we chant, then we can be situated in that consciousness. At least coming to the point of karma yoga. The more we hear, more we chant, we will understand oh, I shouldn't keep the reactions for myself. Let me act for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever we like to do, whatever the activity may be, but doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, connecting it to Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Nadate kasya chit papam
Nadate kaschidit papam
na cheva sukritam vibhu
na chaiva sukritam vibhu
ajnanena vritam jnanam
agyane navratram jnanam
tena muyanti jantava.
tena mruhyanti jantava. Translation. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because he is a living soul, he has a capacity to desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situations which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is a constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the super soul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul as one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not, therefore, omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic hymn therefore declare एषा हु एव साधु कर्म कर्याति तम्यम एभ्यो लोकेभ्य उनि निस्साते एषा जो एव साधु कर्म कर्याति यम अधो निनिसाते. The Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities that he may go to hell. Kaushita ki Upanishad. Atno jantur anishoyam atmana sukha dukhayo Ishwara prerito gachet swargam vashvabhram evacha. The living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell as a cloud is driven by air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immortal desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience and under the spell of ignorance. The living entity claimed that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutra also confirmed this. Vaishamya Nerikirine na Shapik Sattva Tatahi Darshayati. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, although he appears to.
Then Krishna goes on to say that we now we said, what is the difference between the soul and the material energy? What is the difference? Why are we called the superior energy and the material energy is called inferior?
Because of consciousness.
That's right, consciousness. Thank you. Thank you. Consciousness. Okay. And then why are we suffering? Because
Mm, because we relate ourselves with body.
yes, that's right. So that's because of our ignorance. Hmm?
Yeah.
Because okay, so because of our ignorance, we are suffering. And we are conscious. That's why we are superior energy. Now, what is the here? The Lord is being called Vibhu. What does the word Vibhu mean?
Omniscient.
Omniscient. Yeah. The Lord is omniscient. And our size. So the Lord, He's full. He's unlimited. He's full of unlimited knowledge, unlimited riches, unlimited strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. That's his position. Can anyone claim, oh, I'm richer than God? Sure, there may be many rich people, but can anyone say I'm richer than God?
No.
Or can anyone say I'm more powerful than God? Sure, there may be many strong people, really strong people. We have the competition, the strongest person on the planet. But can anyone say they're stronger than God?
No.
No.
Yeah. Or can anyone say, I'm more famous than God?
No.
Many famous people, but no one can be more famous than God, you know? So there are these six opulences: knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. Only Krishna has them unlimitedly. The Supreme Lord, only God has them unlimitedly. We, because we are his part and parcel, and our size is anu, we are atomic. So we have these qualities, but in atomic size. You know, if there's a big container, you can put more water in it. If there's a tiny container, can you put the same amount of water?
No.
The capacity is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
Although the container is made from the same material, it's made from same. Both the containers are, say, golden containers. But the big container can put in more water and the tiny one will put in less. So similarly, our size is we are atomic, anu. And Krishna, he's Vibhu. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. But because we are anu, all these qualities that Krishna has, we also have, but to the atomic size. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, because we are this atomic size, what happens is that we sometimes get covered by the material energy. Even though material energy is inferior, we just said we are superior because we are conscious. Material energy is inferior because no consciousness. But yet, because our size is so tiny, we have a tendency to be getting covered by her. And that's how we get the ignorance. That is how we get ignorance. And why do we get this ignorance? Is because of our desire. Why do we have this tendency to be covered by the material nature? Because desire. All that we can do is desire. Only thing we can do is desire, and Krishna makes the arrangement for the fulfillment of that desire. He is the Paramatma in our heart. When we desire to forget Krishna, then Krishna puts us in charge of this material energy, ignorance, and we start thinking we are the body and we forget him. When we desire to remember Krishna, Krishna makes the arrangements, he makes the circumstances so that we will be able to remember him. So only thing we can do is desire, and we do not have the capacity to fulfill our desire by ourselves. Only Krishna is the one who allows us to do it. He is omnipotent. We are not omnipotent. We do not have the capacity. Wrongly thinking that we have the capacity, that is ignorance. So we can see there's a difference between God and us. We are not God. It's not that after liberation we are going to become God. No, we are individual conscious souls. We are never going to become God. We'll always remain as souls, parts and parcels of God. So now we may say, oh, so it is God who is making me do bad things? No, that's our desire. He's just making the circumstance to fulfill our desire based on our karma. So we may have the desire to go for the holiday, but have we saved enough money? If we have, then we go for a holiday, right? So similarly, we may desire many things. And then based on our karma, if we deserve it, then Krishna makes the arrangement to fulfill those desires. And in this cycle of our desiring, then we act in a certain way. We get reactions. That's what keeps us here in the material world. So now many people say, oh, that Krishna is bound by karma. No, he himself is saying here. He is not assuming anyone's sinful or pious activities. Krishna is not responsible for how we act or how we desire. Our
Mom.
desire is our own free will. I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Okay. So we are desiring by our free will. And based on our desire, we are acting. And then based on our acting, we are getting some reactions. So we are responsible for our own suffering. We always blame it to God. God has put me in this suffering. Why am I in this position? But we have to understand it's because we have acted in a certain way. So for that, we are getting the reactions. Now we may say, but I never acted like this. But we have had millions of lives and we don't remember it. We don't know we are getting reactions of which life. So Krishna is never responsible for our desire. Krishna is not responsible for our action, and Krishna is not responsible for the reactions that we get. Action means karma. Reactions means whatever, suffering or happiness. He just makes the suitable arrangement. And how does he know that what's our desire? Because he's sitting in our heart as the Paramatma. The soul is that is us, and next to us sitting is Krishna, the super soul, the Paramatma. And because he's sitting so close to us, he understands our desires. Just like Prabhupada is giving the example, we walk by a flower, you know, then even though because we are near the flower, we can automatically smell the fragrance. Nice smell. Because we are near it. Similarly, because the Paramatma is next to us, he understands our desires and he makes those circumstances so that we may be able to fulfill our desires. Also, of course, he sees, do we have the karma for that particular desire? So we have to understand that it's not one. We say, oh, I'm going to become God, I'm going to become Krishna. We have to enter into him. No, it's always separate. We have a independent. We are independent consciousness. Only our size is very small. So how can we change our desire? It's our desire that's keeping us here in the material world. It's our desire to enjoy the fruits of our activities. We are saying we act in such a way so that I can become famous. I'm going to do this so I can get worship. I'm going to do this so I can become more beautiful. And then to suffer or enjoy the reactions, we are creating more and more life, more and more bodies for us in the material world. But Krishna is saying act in such a way so that just act, because act we have to. The soul has to act, cannot not act. Otherwise, the body is dead body. But again, the soul will take up another body and is going to act in that body. So Krishna is saying, act in a way and don't get attached to the result. Act for my satisfaction. As he's saying, Arjuna, you fight for my satisfaction. Don't get attached to the result. So how can we get such a desire to be with Krishna, to be able to give up this attachment that we have to our fruits, karma phala? The more we hear about Krishna, hearing from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, hear in the parampara, in the disciplic succession. Don't hear from professional reciters. Don't think that anyone who just mentions Krishna is a bona fide speaker of spiritual knowledge. See if they have the credentials. Not anyone who speaks of some of as for example medicine. Someone may speak of some medicine, but not necessary that they are qualified medical practitioners. So make sure, does this person know what he's speaking? Has he heard from the scriptures? Has he heard in the disciplic succession? Then hear from him. Because we are hearing from anyone and we are thinking, oh, what this person is saying is right. What this person is saying is right. But actually, what are they saying? Is it right? Are they speaking from Shastra? And that is our responsibility to do the research work. So hearing and chanting, chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The more we hear about Krishna from the proper sources, from the authorities, and the more we chant Krishna's name, the more we will get the desire to be with Krishna, to go back home, back to Godhead. And in that way, one can actually get out, because then Krishna will arrange the situation for us. We will be able to give up our desire to associate, to enjoy in this, well, not our desire to keep these results for ourselves. Right now, we are very miserly. We are saying, why shall I act for Krishna? I want to act for myself. But the more we hear and chant, the more we become Krishna conscious, the more we will understand transcendental knowledge that, oh, I'm not this body. I am eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And I can truly enjoy or truly be happy when I am connected to Krishna. Is that okay? Yes. So we spoke of many different things. So it's our desires. We can't, and our desire is our free will. That is what we have, what we desire. And we say we are independent. The only choice that we have is either we choose Krishna or we choose Maya. That's the choice. And then once we choose Krishna, then the superior energy makes arrangements. Once we choose Maya, then material energy makes the arrangements for us to act. So what we can do is somehow get the desire to to serve Krishna, somehow get the desire to go back home, back to Godhead, just somehow. And then Krishna will make the arrangements. Jnanena tu tad ajnanam.
ज्ञानेन तु तद् ज्ञानम्
Yesham nashritam atmanah.
येषां नास्तीत आत्मनम्
Tesham aditya vajnanam.
तेषा आदित्य वज्ञानम्
Prakashayati tatparam.
प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
Okay. Translation. So, Auntie Rashmi, आपको पढ़ना है हिंदी में?
आप बोलेंगे तो मैं पढ़ूंगी.
Okay, आप पढ़ो.
हाँ, किंतु जब कोई उस ज्ञान से प्रबुद्ध होता है जिससे अविद्या का विनाश होता है, तो उसके ज्ञान से वह सब कुछ उसी तरह प्रकट हो जाता है जैसे दिन में सूर्य से सारी वस्तुएं प्रकाशित हो जाती हैं. जो लोग कृष्ण को भूल गए हैं वे निश्चित रूप से मोहग्रस्त होते हैं, किंतु जो कृष्ण भावना भक्ति हैं वे नहीं होते. भगवद गीता में कहा गया है, सर्व ज्ञान पुले पुलेवेन ज्ञाने अग्नि सर्व कर्माणि तथा न ही ज्ञानेन सदृश्यम. ज्ञान सदैव सब माननीय है. और वह ज्ञान क्या है? श्री कृष्ण के प्रति आत्मसमर्पण करने पर ही पूर्ण ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है. जैसे कि गीता में भी कहा गया है, बहुना जन्म जन्माते ज्ञानवान माम प्रपद्यते. अनेकों जन्म बीत जाने पर भी पूर्ण ज्ञान प्राप्त करके मनुष्य कृष्ण की शरण में जाता है, अथवा जब उससे कृष्ण भावनामृत प्राप्त होता है तो उसे सब कुछ प्रकट होने लगता है. जिस प्रकार सूर्योदय होने पर सारी वस्तुएं दिखने लगती हैं. जीव नाना प्रकार के मोहग्रस्त होता है. उदाहरणार्थ, जब वह अपने को ईश्वर मानने लगता है तो वह अविद्या के पास में जा गिरता है. यदि जीव ईश्वर है तो वह अविद्या से कैसे मोहग्रस्त हो सकता है? क्या ईश्वर अविद्या से मोहग्रस्त होता है? यदि ऐसा हो सकता है तो फिर अविद्या या शैतान ईश्वर से बड़ा है. वास्तविक ज्ञान उसी से प्राप्त हो सकता है जो पूर्णतः कृष्ण भावना भक्ति भवित है. अतः ऐसे ही प्रामाणिक गुरु की खोज करनी होती है और उसी से सीखना होता है कि कृष्ण भावना अमृत क्या है, क्योंकि कृष्ण भावना अमृत से सारी अविद्या उसी प्रकार दूर हो जाती है जिस प्रकार सूर्य से अंधकार दूर हो जाता है. भले ही किसी व्यक्ति को इसका पूरा ज्ञान हो कि वह शरीर नहीं अपितु इससे परे है, तो भी वो हो सकता है कि वह आत्मा तथा परमात्मा में अंतर न कर पाए. किंतु यदि वह पूर्ण प्रामाणिक है, कृष्ण भावना भवित गुरु की शरण ग्रहण करता है, तो वह सब कुछ जान सकता है. ईश्वर के प्रतिनिधि से भेंट होने पर ही ईश्वर तथा ईश्वर के साथ अपने संबंध को सही सही जान पाता है. और ईश्वर का प्रतिनिधि कभी भी अपने आप को ईश्वर नहीं कहता, यद्यपि उसका सम्मान ईश्वर की ही भांति किया जाता है, क्योंकि उसे ईश्वर का ज्ञान होता है. मनुष्य को ईश्वर और जीव के अंतर को समझना होगा. अतः भगवान कृष्ण ने द्वितीय अध्याय में यह कहा है कि प्रत्येक जीव व्यष्टि और भगवान भी व्यष्टि है. वो सब भूतकाल में व्यष्टि थे, संपत्ति थी व्यष्टि है, और भविष्य में मुक्त होने पर भी व्यष्टि बने रहेंगे. रात्रि के समय अंधकार में हमें प्रत्येक वस्तु एक सी दिखती है, किंतु दिन में सूर्य उदित होने पर सारी वस्तुएं अपने अपने वास्तविक स्वरूप में दिखती हैं. आध्यात्मिक जीवन में व्यष्टि ही पहचान की वास्तविक ज्ञान है।
So Krishna goes on to say that when what happens when the sun comes up? When the sun comes up, we can see everything clearly. Now, in the night, we can't see anything. We can't even see our body. We may see some shape and we may get scared. Oh my God, what is this? Why? Because it's so dark. We don't understand what it is. So darkness is like ignorance, nescience. But when the sun comes up, then everything becomes clear. Oh, I can see everything clearly. There's nothing to be scared of. I can see myself. I can see everything nicely. So similarly, this knowledge, when we get the transcendental knowledge, then our ignorance is destroyed. So Prabhupada in his purport is explaining to us that now why is our ignorance? We said because we are thinking we are the body. We have forgotten we are the soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So because we have forgotten Krishna, we are in ignorance. And because we are in ignorance, of course, we are bewildered, we are confused, we don't know what's happening, what's the truth, what's the reality. All this begins by our forgetfulness of Krishna. By forgetfulness of Krishna, we get ignorance. So, but one who is Krishna conscious, a pure devotee is not in ignorance. Pure devotee, he understands things as they are. He has this transcendental knowledge. And Prabhupada is saying how one can get that knowledge is when one surrenders unto Krishna. Krishna says in 7th chapter, text 19, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. That after many, many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto Krishna, understanding that Krishna is God. So what is the result of knowledge is one will surrender to Krishna. Understanding, oh, I'm not God, Krishna is God. And then everything becomes clear, everything is revealed. Caitaniya Caritamita says, Krishna hai Surya Saman, Maya hai Andhakar, Jaha Krishna taha nahi, Maya ra Adhikar. Wherever there's Krishna, there is knowledge, there's no darkness. Just as as soon as the sun comes up, there's light, there's no more darkness. So as soon as one becomes Krishna conscious, all the ignorance, confusion, bewilderment, all that is gone. We are so confused, we are so much in illusion that we think that we are God. But something to think about is if I am God, then how come I am in ignorance? How come I am captured under this spell of Maya? How come I forgot I was God? How can God ever become ignorant? Then, if so, then Maya is greater than God. If we are saying that God can become ignorant right now, I've forgotten I'm God because I'm under ignorance, I'm under Maya. But after I get liberated, I will become one with God. Then are we trying? That means we are trying to say that Maya is greater than God. But that's not right. That's not real knowledge. Therefore, if we at all want to understand real knowledge, we need to understand from the bona fide spiritual master. Hear the knowledge in parampara, in disciplic succession, not from professional reciter. Because when we hear from disciplic succession, the pure devotee, he has knowledge. So if we hear from him, we are getting the real knowledge. If we hear from someone who himself is confused, then they are going to give us confusion instead of knowledge. If somebody is not an engineer and and he's trying to be a teacher of of teaching us something about engineering. How will he be able to teach us if he himself does not have the knowledge? If somebody has knowledge of something, we should go. But many pretend to say that they have the knowledge. So we should be careful who we are hearing from. Because what happens is we may understand I am not the body, I am the soul, but yet we may not be able to understand that, oh, there is a difference between God and me, that I'm not God. I can never become God. I can never enter into God's body. No, there is a difference. And to be able to understand this difference, we need to hear knowledge from the pure devotee, bona fide Krishna conscious spiritual master, one who has the authority from Krishna to give this knowledge, one who has heard the knowledge in the parampara from the proper sources. There's only 4 bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. One beginning from Brahma, it's called the Brahma Sampradaya. We are coming in that line where Krishna gave the knowledge to Brahma. Then Krishna gave the knowledge to Lakshmi ji, that's the Shri Sampradaya. Krishna gave knowledge to Lord Shiva, that's the Rudra Sampradaya. And Krishna gave knowledge to the 4 Kumaras, that is the Kumar Sampradaya. So we need to hear the knowledge in the Sampradaya because the speaker of knowledge has to be Krishna. No one can give this spiritual knowledge other than Krishna. And it needs to be heard in the disciplic succession. So when we hear this knowledge from the pure devotee, then we can understand our relationship with God. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand. Otherwise, we will mistake ourselves and think we are God. If we don't hear from the proper authority, we will think we are God. But when we are hearing from authority, we will understand, oh, I'm not God, but I have a loving relationship with God. So a pure devotee, he's given all respects because he's representing God. You know, for example, we are in foreign country and there is an Indian embassy there. So the Indian embassy, the real Indian embassy is there now. But there's another person who just opens a place and paints outside Indian embassy. And he also prints many passports, which looks same. It looks the same. And he has the stamp. And so if we go to this person who has no authority from the India government, but he's writing Indian embassy and he's giving us passport, which looks the same, and he has the visa, which looks the same. Can we actually travel to India or with this visa or this passport? Will we be able to travel?
No, no,
No,
would be
right?
illegal.
Why?
Because it would be illegal. It's not coming from the proper source, original source.
Thank you. Yes, because he does not have this authority to issue. Now, same, we go to the Indian embassy, they're giving us the same passport, same stamp, but they have the authority to issue it. And so that's the reason we can travel with this visa and passport. Similarly, we need to hear the spiritual knowledge from the bona fide sources, the authority who have this authority to give this knowledge, because they have this power coming from Krishna. So hear from the pure devotee, then we will be able to actually get liberation, the real liberation, the relationship between God and us. We can never become God. That's what we need to understand. If we don't hear from proper source, we will make the mistake of thinking we are God. Krishna says in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita that we were always individual before. Right now we are individual, and in the future also we will continue to remain individual. Because we are the soul. The soul never dies. The soul, it's not that you mix the soul into the big soul and then the soul does not exist. and only the big soul exists. No, that's a material conception. We are thinking like, oh, like take a drop of water goes in the ocean, the drop is no more, only the ocean is there. But that's matter. We cannot compare spirit with matter. Again, then we are thinking that we are material. If we are thinking the soul is like that, means we are thinking soul is material. But the soul is spiritual. Spiritual means it never ends, it's eternal. Continue to be individual. The soul can never be killed. And if we think that the soul can be merged and exist no more, that is material concept. We are thinking the soul is material. So we need to hear the knowledge from the pure devotee as we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada now. That's why we are encouraged to read Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Krishna spoke it, as Arjuna understood it, so that we can get the real knowledge. And once we get real knowledge, everything becomes clear. Like when the sun is up, then everything becomes clear. There's no more fear, there's no more illusion, no doubt. So we need to hear and chant, hear and chant. Yeah. Is that okay? Any question?
No.
Okay. Okay. Tad buddhayas tad atmanas.
Tad buddhi
Tadbudayas tad atma tad atmanas.
Tan nishtas tad parayana.
tat nishtaha tat
Tannishta tad parayana.
Gachanti apnur avritam.
gachanti
Gacchante
apnur
apnur avrittam
Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha.
jnana
jnana nirdhurta krishtasha.
So, Auntie Rashmi, आप कंटिन्यू कीजिए.
तब मनुष्य की बुद्धि, मन, श्रद्धा तथा शरण सब कुछ भगवान में स्थिर हो जाते हैं, तभी वह पूर्ण ज्ञान द्वारा समस्त कल्मश से शुद्ध होता है और मुक्ति के पथ पर अग्रसर होता है. परम दिव्य सत्य भगवान श्री कृष्ण ही है. सारी गीता इसी घोषणा पर केंद्रित है कि कृष्ण श्री भगवान है. यही समस्त वेदों का भी अभिमत है. पर तत्व का अर्थ परम सत्य है, जो भगवान को ब्रह्म, परमात्मा तथा भगवान के रूप में जानने वालों द्वारा समझा जाता है. भगवान ही इस पर तत्व की पराकाष्ठा है. उससे अधिक कुछ नहीं है. भगवान कहते हैं, मतः परन्तरः नानानत कश्चिदस्ति धनंजय कृष्ण निराकार ब्रह्म कामी अनुमोदन करते हैं. ब्रह्मण ही प्रतिष्ठा हम, अतः सभी प्रकार से कृष्ण परम सत्य परम तत्व है. जिनके मन, बुद्धि, श्रद्धा तथा शरण कृष्ण में है, अर्थात जो पूर्णतया कृष्ण भावना अभावित है, उनके सारे कल्मश धुल जाते हैं और उन्हें ब्रह्म संबंधी प्रत्येक वस्तु का पूर्ण ज्ञान रहता है. कृष्ण भावना भवित व्यक्ति यह भली भांति समझ जाता है कि कृष्ण में द्वैत है, एक साथ एकता तथा भिन्नता है, और ऐसे दिव्य ज्ञान से युक्त होकर वह मुक्ति पथ पर सुस्थिर प्रगति कर सकता है.
So then Krishna is going on to say, become Krishna conscious. When one is Krishna conscious, one gets complete knowledge, no more on in the path of duality, and gets liberation. Liberation. Now the truth is that Krishna is God. That's the supreme truth. Whether we accept it or we don't accept it, we believe in it or we don't believe in it, we want it or we don't want it, we cannot change it. You see, what is that the truth cannot be changed. In the material world, we have experience of relative truth that is relative to certain time, place, circumstance. Lockdown, it was a truth 3 years ago. Now we don't have it. So it's relative. But Krishna is God. That is the supreme truth, absolute truth. It's not that we have faith that Krishna is God, but it is a fact that Krishna is God. You see, it's not that our belief that Krishna is God, but it's a fact that Krishna is God. All the Vedas are saying that. Krishna himself is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. All the authorities are saying that. Arjuna will say that in the later 10th or 11th chapter. He says that all the authorities, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, he's saying a few authorities' names. They are saying Krishna is God. And so Arjuna is saying also Krishna is God. So the Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra all are saying Krishna is God. And Krishna himself is saying also in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is God. So, Tony, you have a question? You have your hand raised, so I'm not sure. Your voice is not clear. Haribol? Yeah, your voice is not clear.
Okay, Chandra, this also not clear.
Huh? Haribol?
Okay, leave it. No problem.
This is now clear. Just to check.
Now there's too much echo coming. I'm not sure why. I'm sorry, maybe we can try to adjust. You want from just on one mic. You turn off your mic and let open from Chandra Didi's mic, something like that, maybe. I don't know.
I did Chandra this. Anyway, continue. Next time.
Hello, this voice is
Yes.
clear?
Yeah, your voice is clear.
Yeah, just a minute. Right from this.
But tell him to turn off his mic
Hello.
because there's too
Now,
much echo.
now it's okay.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. See, just I want to share something. Yani, see, first chapter, no. Yani Krishna is showing that Arjun, all this about battlefield and everything. So as you keep on reading, so first chapter is irrelevant, right? Not so important. First chapter. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, it's suddenly
Okay,
the echo comes.
see, okay, then second chapter is on Atma. We are the soul and everything. Okay, cannot be destroyed or something. Cannot, fire cannot be burned. Okay, third chapter is for karma. Okay, and so on. Then one chapter is Krishna says, everywhere I am. मीन्स शेर में मैं हूँ, सब में मैं हूँ. एक चैप्टर में विश्व रूप दिखाते हैं, विश्व रूप दर्शन. ठीक है, आप 18 चैप्टर पूरा कंप्लीट करो, ऑटोमेटिकली ज्ञान आ जाएगा अंदर. आप कभी नहीं बोलोगे कि मैं भगवान हूँ, आप बोलोगे कृष्णा 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 कृष्णा.
वेरी गुड, थैंक यू.
आप बोल ही नहीं सकते कि मैं हूँ. अच्छा, और अभी आप बोलते हो 4 गुरु होते हैं. आपने बोला ना 4 अलग अलग गुरु है. अभी मैं इधर बैठा हूँ, मेरे पास तो कोई गुरु नहीं है.
4 संप्रदाय है.
आपने बोला 4 गुरु है. एक
4 संप्रदाय
जो शिव का था ना, वो रुद्राक्ष बोला. फिर पहला नारद का बोला, फिर तीसरा, चौथा, टोटल 4
एक
गुरु
ब्रह्मा,
बताए ना अभी। हाँ,
4
ब्रह्मा।
संप्रदाय है। एक ब्रह्मा, जिसको कृष्णा ने पहला नॉलेज ब्रह्मा को दिया। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ब्रह्मा ने
ब्रह्मा को दिया।
नारद ने व्यासादेव, व्यासादेव ने मध्वाचार्य, ऐसे।
ठीक है, अभी हमारे पास तो कोई भी नहीं है, ठीक है। लेकिन मेरा शेयर करने का व्यू ऐसा था कि आदमी डेली एक एक चैप्टर गीता पढ़ते पढ़ते 18 करेगा ना, 18 चैप्टर फिर से रिपीट करेगा ना, वो कभी नहीं बोलेगा कि मैं भगवान हूँ। वो फाइनली मेरा गुरु है ना, कृष्ण ही हुआ। गीता पढ़ा ना, वो उसके मुख से सुना, उसकी मुख की वाणी, एक एक वचन हीरे की तरह है। आप कौन से भी चैप्टर पलटो, आप बोलो श्लोक ये, वो कुछ इज लाइक अ डायमंड। आप नहीं बोल सकते ये यहाँ इन्होंने कृष्ण ने गलत बताया है। तो कोई भी चैप्टर ऐसा टर्न करो, ऐसा टर्न करो। अच्छा, 2-3 बार आप रिपीट यानी गीता पढ़ोगे, वही मैं मानता हूँ कि हमारे पास तो गुरु है नहीं आजू बाजू, तो कृष्ण कृष्ण भगवान ही हमारे गुरु है। और
वेरी गुड।
पूरा पूरा नॉलेज के बाद आप कभी नहीं बोलोगे कि कृष्ण ही कृष्ण बोलोगे, आखिरी तक कृष्ण बोलोगे, कभी मैं करोगे ही नहीं। ऑटोमेटिक मैं निकल जाएगा।
वेरी गुड, थैंक यू। क्योंकि आपने सही बोला, ओरिजिनल गुरु कृष्णा ही है। जैसे कृष्णा ने ब्रह्मा को दिया, कृष्णा ने
हाँ,
तो
थोड़े दिन
ओरिजिनल
पहले वो श्री श्री
तो कृष्णा
प्रभुपाद
ही।
का भी मैं पढ़ा था, उसने बोला आई एम द सर्वेंट ऑफ गॉड,
यस,
सर्वेंट ऑफ कृष्णा। तो
या,
अल्टीमेटली जितने भी गुरु बने कृष्णा है। और जिनके पास नहीं है तो गीता डेली पढ़ के 18 चैप्टर कंप्लीट करके आप बोलोगे कृष्ण ही है, मेरा ही गुरु कृष्ण भी है, कृष्णा है। और सब जैसे आपने ये सूरज की रोशनी आती है ना, सब अंधेरा चला जाता है ना, तो हमारे अंदर सब अंधेरा है ना, सब उजाला हो जाएगा। कभी आप नहीं बोलोगे कि मैं हूँ, आई एम गॉड, आई एम गॉड, कभी नहीं बोलोगे अगर
थैंक
18 चैप्टर बरोबर पढ़ लिया तो। बस ये शेयर करने का था। ओके,
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू। आपने सही बोला कि आदि गुरु कृष्णा ही है, ओरिजिनल गुरु कृष्णा है। पर जैसे आपने भी भगवत गीता पढ़ी, प्रभुपाद के मुख से हम अभी सुन रहे हैं ना, ये भगवत गीता हम जो अभी पढ़
हाँ
रहे हैं।
हाँ,
नहीं तो हम क्यों, कैसे हमको कृष्णा तो डायरेक्टली नहीं दे रहे हैं ना नॉलेज। हम
नहीं,
18 अध्याय कैसे पढ़ रहे हैं? क्योंकि प्रभुपाद ने दी है ना ये
हाँ राइट।
ट्रांसलेट।
वो गीता के पहले चैप्टर में इतने सारे गुरु का नाम लिखा है, पहले नारद का, फिर उसका उसका उसका, लास्ट में श्री प्रभुपाद का
शिला
है।
प्रभुपाद, तो हम ये परंपरा में सुन रहे हैं गीता को।
हाँ
आप
हाँ हाँ,
समझे?
तो
तो
कृष्ण
हम
भगवान ने भी गीता
परंपरा
में
में।
बोला कि परंपरा से ये पहले ज्ञान लुप्त हो गया था, फिर मैंने
हाँ,
सूर्य को बताया। वो कृष्ण भगवान ने भी
एग्जैक्टली,
ऐसे ही।
हाँ, दैट्स राइट। तो थैंक यू
हाँ
सो मच कि आप सही समझे हो और आप सही परंपरा में ये ज्ञान प्राप्त कर रहे हो। और इसीलिए
हाँ
आपको भी, बिकॉज सही ज्ञान है ना कि
हाँ
कृष्णा इज गॉड, आई एम इटर्नल सर्वेंट ऑफ कृष्णा। थैंक यू सो
हाँ,
मच,
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग। या,
थैंक यू।
so we encourage everyone to continue to reading, to continue to hear and read from Bhagavad Gita regularly and chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
हाँ, थैंक
Okay,
यू।
so we'll stop here for today. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.